The fields were full, the silos were ready, the contracts were signed, and then nothing. On May 22, 2025, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reported a rare anomaly. For the first time in over a decade, canceled wheat export orders outnumbered sales by 128 metric tons. The buyers didn't explain, they didn't protest, they just walked. In Washington, President Trump said his tariff policies were designed to, help American farmers. But by late May, Bloomberg reported that wheat futures had dropped 8.3%, and Midwestern elevators were overstocked with unsold grain. "We were growing the wheat," one Kansas farmer told Reuters, "but we were not moving it." Meanwhile, Canada, America's quiet northern rival, posted a 40% surge in wheat exports to the European Union, according to the Financial Times. The global buyers didn't wait. They rerouted ships, restructured contracts, and recalibrated trust. In one cycle, U.S. wheat wasn't just skipped. It was replaced. The Philippines had been importing nearly 3 million tons of US wheat per year. In 2025, that number collapsed. A 110,000-ton deal was rerouted, split between Canada and Australia. Not because of cost, because of reliability. "We had containers sitting at port for 3 weeks due to US paperwork inconsistencies," said Ricardo Pinca, executive director of the Philippine Association of Flour Millers. Canadian grain arrives on time in spec, every time. In South Korea, U.S. wheat market share halved, dropping from 35% to 17% between late 2024 and June 2025. The issue? Glyphosate residue. Korea's new safety threshold capped it at 200 parts per billion. U.S. wheat tested as high as 420 parts per billion, while Canadian shipments consistently registered under 70, according to Korea's Ministry of Agriculture. Namshim and Orion, two of Korea's biggest food conglomerates, switched overnight. They didn't wait for Washington to catch up. They updated their supply chain. Mexico's pivot stung deeper. The U.S. had exported over 3 million tons to Mexico annually, until 2025, when imports dropped 40%. Canadian and Argentine grain replaced it. Why? According to Alcanista, a single customs delay at the Texas border in April triggered shutdowns at flour mills in Sonora and Chihuahua. By June, Mexican millers signed new 5-year contracts with Alberta. Not because it was better, because it was predictable. Even Europe moved. France, a country where bread borders on religion, cut us wheat imports to a 20-year low. Co-ops in Kansas missed shipment after shipment due to failed chemical compliance and outdated carbon certifications. Lyon quoted a French customs official, "One missing EPA document and the entire container is flagged." Canada didn't miss. Their shipments cleared with precision. So did their contracts. Italy, home of pasta and durum wheat, once imported heavily from the United States. Now, Canadian wheat dominates 45% of its wheat supply, up from just 12% in 2023. The United States holds only 15%. Italian millers cited better elasticity, fewer inspection surprises, and zero tariff volatility from Canadian exporters. Their verdict was quiet but final. This wasn't supposed to be a pricing issue. America still produces some of the highest quality wheat on earth. The soil didn't change. The farmers didn't forget how to grow. What changed was certainty. And the moment the market saw it vanish, loyalty disappeared with it. Egypt, the largest wheat importer on earth, used to buy thousands of tons from the United States. In 2025, it bought nearly all of it from Russia, not because of taste, because of logistics. United States shipments were delayed. Insurance premiums surged. Cairo turned to Moscow. By August, Russia had signed a multi-billion-dollar subsidy-backed deal. The United States didn't even make the short list. Indonesia followed, despite being the second largest wheat buyer in Asia for over a decade. Jakarta quietly rewrote its contracts with Russian and Ukrainian exporters. According to the Jakarta Post, shipping times from the Black Sea were faster, U.S. wheat more expensive, less flexible, and trapped in paperwork. "Too many delays, too much risk," said Hendro Satrio, procurement executive at Indofoods Wheat Division. Brazil shocked analysts. Once a net importer, by mid-2025, it became an emerging wheat exporter. Thanks to record government investment and climate-favorable yields, Brazil shipped wheat to Mexico and Nigeria, markets once dominated by U.S. firms. The World Bank called it a structural shift, not a seasonal fluke. Germany, obsessed with emission compliance, rejected US wheat for failing to meet EU-Green Deal protocols. DIET reported that shipping documentation from US ports lacked carbon traceability metrics. Canada's wheat, meanwhile, met all marks. Automated QR codes linked every shipment to blockchain-certified farm data. German millers updated sourcing policies. America was no longer listed. Nigeria, Africa's fastest-growing flour market, cut United States wheat entirely. Instead, it signed a 5-year exclusive deal with Russian exporters. Logistics were cited. But pricing and sanctions evasion mechanisms definitely played a role. The United States tried to re-enter, but honestly, it was too late. Procurement teams had moved on. Bangladesh once bought in bulk from United States ports. In 2025, United States wheat fell below 2% of total imports. Buyers shifted to India, Ukraine, and Russia. Lead times and port fees made the difference. The Daily Star quoted one buyer, "It's not about quality, it's about who shows up when they say they will." That's not America right now. Kenya installed a blockchain-based traceability program for flour millers. Canadian wheat adapted. United States exporters were invited. None submitted bids. The contract was awarded to Saskatchewan growers without contest. "We don't chase paperwork," the Kenyan trade minister said. "We chase performance." In Minnesota, a mid-sized grain co-op closed its export desk. Not due to lack of grain, but lack of trust. "We were not out of wheat," said Mark Dennis, general manager of the Central Prairie Co-op in Minnesota. "We are out of confidence." His team refocused on ethanol and feed lots. "Exporting," he said, "just isn't dependable anymore." Diplomats scrambled. US trade envoys pitched reforms at Expo Jakarta and Berlin. They promised streamlined inspections, smoother permits, and tariff rollbacks. Buyers nodded politely and walked on. "You can't fix credibility with a PowerPoint," said Luciana de Oliveira, senior trader at Cereal Par, speaking to Valor Económico. The Port of Los Angeles saw its lowest wheat volume in a decade, according to the Wall Street Journal. Booking agents cited chaotic coordination and last-minute EPA audits. "It's like scheduling a surgery in a power outage," said one freight manager. "You don't know if the system will hold, so buyers chose a different hospital." On Capitol Hill, hearings were held, reports filed, statements issued. But on the plains of Oklahoma and Texas, farmers had one question: where did the buyers go? In Saskatchewan, rail cars run full. Export terminals hum. Buyers from Egypt, France, South Korea, and Mexico signed contracts without blinking. It's not because Canadian wheat is magic. It's because Canada has become boring. And in trade, boring is beautiful. Back in Nebraska, a third-generation wheat farmer stares at his empty order book. "They used to call," he says. "Now they don't." His neighbors plant lentils. He plants wheat out of tradition, not optimism. "How many more years can I afford to do it?" he asks. No one answers. No one answers. This isn't just about wheat. It's about every American export. The global market has spoken, not in outrage, but in quiet rejection. The new winners aren't cheaper, they raise steadier. In global trade, trust isn't an opinion, it's a metric. And in 2025, the United States scored poorly. This isn't collapse, it's displacement. The market didn't implode, it evolved without waiting. One United States co-op made a bet. They digitized documentation, partnered with a Canadian freight firm, and guaranteed 48-hour customs compliance. In June, they shipped 5.0 tons of hard red spring wheat to Spain. On time, on spec. No flags raised. For the first time in 11 months, the buyer signed a repeat contract. It wasn't a comeback, it was a start. So what now? If you've watched this far, here's the shift that matters. To regain ground, America must abandon the myth that quality alone wins loyalty in wheat and everything else. Reliability is the currency. And right now, Canada is cashing in. The world hasn't stopped needing American wheat, it's just stopped chasing it. Buyers moved on, not out of malice, but out of exhaustion. One missed deadline became a pattern. One regulatory lapse became a norm. One trade war became a strategy. Then came the silence, and in trade, silence is never neutral. It's loaded. It means the buyer has moved on politely, professionally, permanently. If America wants that phone to ring again, it doesn't need a new speech. It needs a new track record because the future won't be won in subsidies or slogans. It will be won in spreadsheets, one contract honored, one document filed, one shipment arriving exactly as promised every time. No drama, no surprises. That's how you earn back trust quietly. We're glad you were enjoying this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your